Hi everybody, I'm Joe Hirsch and it's great to be learning with you as we continue our series on the Miklat, the city of refuge, a topic that is designed to help you better understand Daf Gimel Amud Bet in Masachet Makkot. In part one of our series, we took a look at the basics of Miklat, starting with the very reason it exists. When an act of manslaughter is committed, the person who commits that unintentional act of murder, the Rotzeach, there he is at the bottom of your screen, is given the right under Torah law to escape to the Miklat, a city of refuge, before the Goel Hadam, a relative of the deceased, has the opportunity to avenge the death by killing the Rotzeach himself. Now, this is not a mere act of vigilantism, and understanding the chronology and sequence of events is quite important. Once this unintentional act of murder occurs, the Goel Hadam may not yet touch the Rotzeach until the Rotzeach has had a chance to appear before Beit Din, who in effect reads him his rights and books him on charges of manslaughter, tells him to head to the Miklat, and informs him that if he doesn't go to the Miklat, then he could potentially face vengeance at the hands of the Goel Hadam. Once the Rotzeach has been read his rights, so to speak, then the Goel Hadam has the opportunity to avenge the death by killing the Rotzeach if the Rotzeach does not go to the Miklat. But to repeat, the Goel Hadam does not have carte blanche to kill the Rotzeach as soon as this act of manslaughter occurs. There's a process by which the Rotzeach must first appear before Beit Din, be read his rights, be processed, be informed of his opportunity to escape to Miklat, at which point he has the choice to flee or not. If he chooses not to flee, then the Goel Hadam has the right under Torah law to avenge the death. So now that the Rotzeach is safely inside the Miklat, what happens next? So you'll remember from the first lesson that as long as the Rotzeach stays inside the Miklat, he is spared from any act of vengeance at the hands of the Goel Hadam. If he were to leave the Miklat, he becomes fair game. But how long does this arrangement go on for? I mean, what is in effect the statute of limitations on this act of manslaughter? Here the Torah ties the length of time that the Rotzeach must stay in the Miklat to the lifetime of the Kohen Gadol. So long as the Kohen Gadol is alive, this arrangement remains in force. Stay in the Miklat, you're safe. Leave the Miklat, you're fair game. But once the Kohen Gadol dies, then the Rotzeach is free to leave the Miklat and wander about just as he did before the act of manslaughter, and he remains safe from the Goel Hadam, who may not touch him. What does the death of the Kohen Gadol have to do with the ability of a Rotzeach to leave the Miklat? This is a question that animated many of the Torah commentators, who essentially come up with the following explanation. The Kohen Gadol, as the person closest to Hashem, as Hashem's ambassador on earth, so to speak, is responsible for the welfare and the well-being of all of the Jewish people, not only their physical needs, but their spiritual needs as well. The Kohen Gadol should be the person who is davening and praying for the welfare of all of the Jewish people. And it could stand to reason that because the Kohen Gadol didn't pray hard enough that the Jewish people remain safe, that this act of manslaughter might have occurred. It's hard to say that one is directly tied to the other, but the Torah commentators look at this act of manslaughter and say that had this person been a little more careful, and perhaps had the Kohen been a little more mindful, then perhaps the act of accidental murder might have been avoided in the first place. For this reason, the Kohen is now a part of the picture, and his presence is now part of the equation in terms of allowing the Rotzeach to leave the Miklat or not. For that reason, so long as the Kohen remains alive, this Rotzeach must stay in the Miklat. Once the Kohen Gadol dies, his part and his role in this whole equation is now removed, which in effect terminates the responsibility of the Rotzeach to remain in the Miklat and gives the Rotzeach a new lease on life. That's some of the basic laws and limitations on the Miklat. Coming up next, we'll take a look at where these cities were actually located as we continue to take a look at the concept of Miklat as it relates to Daf Gimel Amud Bet in Masachet Makkot.